Hello my dear students, my name is Sana Sheikh and today in this video we are going to learn about food security in India. So before starting with this topic, let us first understand why the word food security is important concept or why we need to secure our food. So we all know that food is an essential component for our survival, right? As air is essential for breathing. Similarly, food is required to all of us. So we need to understand that why we need to secure food. Okay, so before starting with this topic, let us first understand what the word food security means. So food security is nothing but availability, accessibility and affordability of food to all peoples at all times. Now what do you understand by this? Availability, accessibility and affordability of food? Let us understand. So when you talk about availability of food, it means that sufficient amount of production should be done so that all the individuals will get the ample amount of food which is required by them, or they can get the food requirements. They can meet their food requirements easily. Sufficient amount of production of food grain should be made available to them. Now when you talk about accessibility, so accessibility means the food should be within the reach of the individuals. They should be easily accessible by the individuals. And when you talk about affordability, it means that the food should be affordable to all the individuals. Means the person should have sufficient amount of income or sufficient amount of money to buy those food grains. Then only he would be able to purchase the food. So these three things are important for a person to meet his food requirements: availability, accessibility and affordability. Now why we need to secure food? Let us first understand why. Because we know that when a person becomes hungry, then only he is going to demand food. Okay, so let us understand what the word hunger means. So hunger is nothing but it is like a situation when the person needs a money when a person is very hungry or he needs the food. Okay, so it is not just an expression of poverty, but it brings about poverty. So to understand the word hunger, we should understand the two dimensions of it. One is chronic hunger and another is seasonal hunger. So when you talk about chronic hunger, so it is the state in which the person does not have sufficient amount of work to earn income and meet his food's requirement, or we can say he is not able to afford the food. Okay, so that is the state of chronic hunger, where he does not have sufficient amount of income or sufficient money to buy the food. And when we talk about seasonal hunger, so seasonal hunger is the hunger which is caused because of the seasonal changes, and this is generally seen in the agricultural areas, or we can say the rural areas. Okay, and sometimes it is also observed in the urban areas as well. So when these two type of hunger occurs, the person is about to become poor. And that is why, because see, when there is no sufficient food requirement, or we can say when the sufficient amount of income is not there to a person to buy the food, then only he will become hungry, right? And to make them out of this, or to make them come out of this hunger state, we need to secure food, or it is the role of the government to make the food available to all the people, right? Though they do not have any money, or though there is a seasonal change. So in India we see that many of the steps have been taken to secure the food. And to understand this, we need to learn why there is a need of its food security. So first thing is that it is very essential to ensure the welfare of the poorest section of the society. In the poorest section, we see that many of the people, they do not have sufficient amount of income, and that is the reason because of which they cannot buy the food. Second thing is to deal with emergency situations such as earthquake, floods, droughts, famines, etc. So these are some reasons because of which we need to ensure the food security. Now how the government does? So in India, we have taken various measures to secure food. So since the advent of Green Revolution, the country has avoided famine. Okay, and even during the adverse weather conditions, the government of India makes sure that ample amount of food is available. And we can say that India has become self-sufficient in food grains during the last 30 years because a variety of crops are grown all over the country. Now when you talk about the structure of food security in India, so it is a very easy and a very systematic way in which the government is securing the food. So in India we have adopted two components of securing food. One is buffer stock and another is public distribution system. Now let us understand what is buffer stock. So it is nothing but the stock of food grains which is procured by the government of India through the Food Corporation of India. Okay, so in this, what the government does, it procures the food by the through the Food Corporation of India, and the farmers in this case are paid a pre-announced price for their crops, which is called as minimum support price, and the purchased food grains are stored in granaries. So this is the buffer stock. And why it is done? It is done to distribute food grains in the deficit areas and among the poor section of the society, and the distributed food grain is made available to the people at the lower price than the market price, and this price is known as issue price. Okay, and another component of food security or measurement is public distribution system. So what the work is done under PDS system. So whatever the food is procured by the Food Corporation of India, which is kept as the buffer stock, is distributed through government regulated ration shops. Okay, and this is called as public distribution system. As we all have noticed that around us we can see various ration shops where the poor people can easily go and have the access to food. Okay, and this price of the food is quite less as compared to the market. And in this case, under this public distribution system, these ration shops are also known as fair price shops, and there are about 5.5 lakh ration shops all over the country. They are present everywhere in most of the localities like villages, towns, cities, etc. Okay, so through this buffer stock and public distribution system, the government ensures food security in India. I hope that you all have understood these components, whatever we have learned so far. Thank you for watching. Thank you.